Hello Culers, it's Pablo here and welcome back to Barca Universal, and it is time to talk about El Clásico, Real Madrid versus Barcelona. Tomorrow will be the full match preview, but today let's get some more build-up in and let's actually talk about tactics and what is one of the most important games in world football so far this season in my opinion. Real Madrid are coming in on form, they're just 2 points behind us in La Liga. Both teams in my opinion, if they win this game, certainly can go on to win La Liga, perhaps even as favourites. There is simply so much up for grabs here, so let's actually dive in, take a look at tactics before this massive game. Because I do honestly think coming into a game like this, it will be the tactical aspect of things that win it really for either side. You know, the midfield battles, the superiorities on either flank and things like that are going to be absolutely massive in this sort of game. So if you do want to stick around, take a look, get some comments in down below, please feel free to do so. And let's kickstart here with Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid, to kickstart with, they do come into this game in form, in confident mood, and all of a sudden, guys, perhaps even favourites for this Clásico. You look at the victory against Liverpool midweek. Liverpool, in my opinion, were very poor, but Real Madrid, you know, they've got a lot of confidence behind them right now, even with certain absences. No Ramos at the back, no Varane at the back, no Carvajal at the back either, so some big players missing. Of course, Eden Hazard, he probably won't start either. And despite these absences, Real Madrid, they do come into this game pretty confident. So let's actually dive straight into tactics. I'm going to start here with what I think Real Madrid will line up with. This is going to be the general 4-3-3 formation. This is actually how I think we are going to be seeing Real Madrid set up on Saturday in El Clásico. So of course Courtois in goal, for me a great shot stopper, someone that Barcelona are going to have to, you know, get some really accurate shots past in my opinion if we're going to have to beat him. You know, he's had a really good season for Real Madrid. At right back it'll be Lucas Vázquez. To be fair, you know, he's getting quite accustomed to that role. Certainly not the most, you know, natural fullback there. I think if Barcelona do really want to, players like Jordi Alba can cause him issues, but he is pretty good there. He's decently quick. He's got a very good cross too, by the way, which we'll be getting on to later. And he does do a solid job there. Then we go to the heart of the defence, guys. And this is, again, where Varane and Ramos are going to have to be covered. It's going to be Militao and Nacho. Two players who now have played 2 games in a row next to each other. One in the back 3, one in the back 2. Against Eibar and Liverpool respectively. And you know what, like I've said it before, they're full of confidence. I don't know if they're playing that well, but what they are is absolutely confident in themselves. They've had 2 solid performances back there. They haven't had much to do, and I think players like Militao, who probably came into the team thinking, oh god, I'm going to have a rough time here, all of a sudden now, he's going to be feeling fine. So I think Barcelona, what we need to do is rediscover some wounds at the back there. Let's set it straight. Lucas, Nacho, Militao, they may be playing well, but if Barcelona are serious about winning La Liga, I know full well we can hurt them. So that's what I'll say about those guys. At left back, of course, I think it will be Mendy there. Certainly the more solid option to Marcelo. He is very quick, very physical also, and he has been a good addition to Real Madrid's team. Moving into that gloried midfield 3 then for Real Madrid, Casemiro, Kroos and Modric. We all know how good these guys are, and this really I think is the key in this Clásico. It always is, really, isn't it, the midfield battles. Barcelona have had some great midfielders coming up against these guys over the past 5-6 years or so, but these guys, you know, they're the ones you need to look out for. Modric, Kroos, Casemiro. Of course, we know about Casemiro, he'll cut up play, he'll likely get away with a few fouls, but Modric and Kroos, those are the creators, those are the guys who can control the game. And if Real Madrid go 1-0 up, Barcelona could have a real nightmare of a time trying to get the ball back off these two. So I think the key for Barcelona is we have to counteract that. You know, we can't be a Barcelona team and not control the midfield. We have to take the ball away from these guys. We have to make sure they don't control the game. We have to get Real Madrid chasing, more importantly, because they don't like chasing the game. And we cannot let Real Madrid have things easy in there, else they will just toy with us. And then you look to the attack, guys. This probably was going to be a little more debatable, wasn't it, in the past couple of weeks? But I think right now it looks pretty set in stone. Of course, Benzema will be there down the middle, the danger man, the one Barcelona for me have to look out for. He's the man that, you know, gets on the end of crosses, scores goals for this Real Madrid team. Then you've got the informed VINÍCIUS, who, you know what, every Clásico for me, he is also very dangerous. He certainly lacks end product. He got 2 goals against Liverpool. I know Alisson probably should have been doing better, certainly on the second one, but he's a really dangerous player in Barcelona. Serginho Dest, you know, players like that. We're going to have to be very good defensively to stop him. And then I think Asensio will start. Hazard's not fully fit. You've got Lucas at right back, Rodrigo on the bench. So I do think it will be Asensio on the right and VINÍCIUS on the left with Benzema up front, just like it was against Liverpool. But if Real Madrid were to mix things up and go to a back 3 and perhaps even match Barcelona, if we are to go for that ourselves, we could be seeing something like this. I actually don't think Real Madrid will be doing this, especially after they performed so well in the 4-3-3 against Liverpool. But this is what they could go for. Marcelo would come in instead of Asensio. It would be VINÍCIUS and Benzema up front. You'd have Marcelo at left back there. Lucas at right back, or right wing back really, and left wing back, isn't it? And Mendy would then drop in there next to Nacho and Militao. That could give those two some more cover, and I think Zidane would have to make the decision, do I match Barcelona? I actually expect Ronald Koeman, you'll see in a minute, to go with the back three. So if Real Madrid do want to match us, they could go with this, but I think Zidane will stick to what he knows. We know how good they are in the 4-3-3, and I just don't think Asensio will be dropped. He's got 2 goals in his last 2 games now. He has been scoring, and I just don't think that Zidane will bring Marcelo in for this one. But what do we need to look out for Real Madrid? Number one, I always pinpoint this in the Clásicos, it's crosses. It sounds weird, but Barcelona, if they want success in the Clásico, have to stop Real Madrid getting balls in from either side. That's what they thrive off, getting the ball wide to Lucas, to Mendy, to whoever it is on that flank, Modric, Cruz. They got great deliveries on them. They whip it into the area. Benzema causes massive issues. Casemiro's in there too from set pieces. Varane and Ramos usually. They've got players who can attack the ball, but Benzema in particular, he's excellent at peeling off players. Piqué deals with it very well when he's there. I don't know if he'll be fit or not, but I think crosses is key. Barcelona have to get out to the man. We didn't do that actually a few times against Valladolid. If we want success, we have to stop the cross at source. Something else I want to point out is VINÍCIUS. I mentioned him briefly there, and I honestly do think he's the danger man. I think Barcelona are going to have to get the tactics right. We're going to have to decide very quickly who's going to be right centre-back and who's going to be right back. You'd expect it will be Dest and Mingueza. It could be Araujo and Dest. There could be a few different alternates we go for down there. But I honestly think that VINÍCIUS, he can be so dangerous in these Clásicos. We've seen it now for the past ones, really. Perhaps even without end product in a few of them. But you know what? VINÍCIUS, he always causes us issues down their left-hand side and down our right-hand side. So I think for Barcelona, we really have to look out for him. And another thing I want to point out is for Barcelona not to make mistakes at the back. I think we've seen in Real Madrid's fixtures, it's often that the opposition give them goals or they make silly errors back there. We always see that, don't we, when we're watching Real Madrid? We always think, well, what are they doing back there? Why are they just giving Real Madrid the ball inside their own penalty area? Barcelona cannot fall into that. I think you look at the pitch as well that we're at. We cannot fall into Real Madrid's lull, if you like, is what I call it. You know, falling into letting them take the ball off of us at the back, gifting them possession, playing poorly, kicking it straight out of play. That sort of stuff, guys, we cannot do. We have to be perfect here. We have to show that we want to win La Liga. And as well as playing well ourselves, we can't just gift Real Madrid goals and possession like teams have been doing in the past couple of games. And I think the last point I'd make on Real Madrid, and really for a Barcelona point of view, is to attack their back line. I said it there in the preview, sort of, when I was going through the lineups. I did a good and deep analysis there of their defence, and I honestly think for Barcelona, yes, they've got players who are confident, Lucas, Mendy, Nacho, Militao. They're booming right now, but we have to get at them. I think Liverpool got at them once and scored. It's that simple, guys. We have to take the game to Real Madrid. We cannot sit in. We can't be dull. We can't be slow. We have to attack Real Madrid. We've got players who can do that, as we'll get onto in just a moment. And Real Madrid, we need to make sure they're not getting control of the game, and we have to take the game to them. Moving on then to ourselves in Barcelona, and a chance really now for us to go 5 points clear ahead of Real Madrid with a victory. And of course, guys, the cup final next weekend against Athletic Club, we can here set ourselves up for a domestic double, and I honestly see this as one of the most important games for us in recent times. There is just so much on the line for this one. But who's missing for Barcelona, and how will we actually line up tactically for this fixture? I think first of all, if you talk absences, we'll have to wait and see whether Piqué is fit or not. The full confirmation probably will be available to us by the time I make my preview tomorrow, so by then I'll probably know, and I'll show you guys the lineup I think we'll use as to whether Piqué is fit or not. I honestly get the feeling if Piqué is fit, he could start. If he isn't, we could be seeing something else. But let me start by showing you guys the first lineup that I've gone here for Barcelona. This is going to be the 3-4-3 formation. So this is actually the exact same way that we lined up against Real Valladolid on the weekend. And I think Ronald Koeman actually could go for the same sort of thing. You'd have De Jong there at centre-back. You can either bring Piqué in, or you can bring Mingueza in, or you can bring Araujo in at right centre-back. You know, there's a lot of different variations you could do at the back, to be fair. But other than that, it's the same sort of system, isn't it? You've got the 3 attackers there trying to take on Real Madrid's defence. Dembele, Griezmann, Messi, Pedri and Busquets in midfield, the wing-backs in Dest and Jordi Alba, and I think that's something Barcelona could go for. Another variation of the back 3 could be this, the 3-5-2, and I'm not going to lie, guys, I actually think if Barcelona are to go the 3 at the back, this, I think, is what I would go for. The control midfield for me is absolutely key. I just don't know if we want to enter a Clásico where you've got Cruz, Casemiro and Modric in midfield and not have De Jong there too. I get the feeling if we're playing De Jong at centre-back in a Clásico with Benzema up there, taking our Dutchman out of the midfield, I just don't really think it's a great idea. I think if we do something like this, we can actually be very, very good back there. You know, whether Piqué comes in, that's another matter, of course. He could come in there instead of Araujo, instead of Mingueza, instead of whoever really back there, Longley too, who I don't think will be dropped. But what you've got there is Dembele and Messi trying to cause issues up front. Of course, Pedri can be the link there too. But then you have that solid base, the 3 in midfield, and then the 3 solid centre-backs there in Longley, Araujo and Mingueza, or Piqué if he comes in there. And that is actually something that we saw in the second leg against Sevilla in the Copa del Rey semi-finals. That worked really, really well that night. And I think for Barcelona, if we want to be winning this game, that could be a smart thing to go for. And of course, the final variation we could go for, if we think Real Madrid are going to go for that back four, the 4-3-3, Barca could go for something like this, the 4-3-3, we could revert back to it. This is actually the sort of team we saw earlier on in the season, around the January, February times. This is the lineup that Barcelona were using, so at the time it did work quite well, and of course we used this really for a large part of the second half against Madrid, the 4-3-3. So if Barcelona want to go with that, that's of course something we could go for. Of course, it allows us to have the 3 players in midfield. We've got Dembele on the right, which of course is always very useful. You've got Messi in the centre forward role, Griezmann on the left, helping Jordi Alba. But if I was being deadly serious, guys, I honestly think we'll go for either the 3-4-3 or the 3-5-2 tomorrow. And I think the smart thing to do could be going for the 3-5-2. Give us that control midfield, give us those natural centre-backs in defence, and help us win this match. And I think the key thing I would mention before I move on and really wrap this video up would be for Barcelona to attack the Real Madrid defence. I think that's absolutely crucial in this sort of game. I mentioned it earlier there. I said get out of their back line, but just pinpointing our players here. Dembele and Messi. I have full faith in these guys against Militao and Nacho. Look at the names on show there. Dembele and Messi against Militao and Nacho. We have to attack them. We have to cause them issues. We're Barcelona here on a big, big night in La Liga. And we have to get the 3 points. We have to go and take this game to Real Madrid and win it for ourselves. We can't be sloppy. Like I said, we can't fall into their lull. Don't make mistakes. Don't give in to their pitch being a little bit small and a bit like a training ground, as we know it is there at the Alfredo Di Stefano Stadium. Of course, we'll also have to watch out for Vinicius. I said that earlier, but I do think that's a massive part of the Clásico. The crosses as well, for sure. Also for ourselves, our wing-backs I think could be key. I think we will go for the back 3, like I said. So Dest and Alba will have big responsibility on them again to create that overload, to create the superiorities in the wide areas, to get in behind Real Madrid's back line, cause them issues. You know, Mendy won't know who he's marking. Same goes for a few of the inside centre-backs. And I think those things there are just a few things that Ronald Koeman's Barcelona will have to look out for. And to wrap up this tactical preview, I'm actually going to talk about a few things the sides could think about going against each other. I think the first thing I want to talk about is the midfield battle. I mentioned it briefly earlier. It's always so key in this sort of game. De Jong, Pedri and Busquets against Modric, Kroos and Casemiro. That's going to be an absolutely massive battle, isn't it? That's what I said about De Jong. If we take him into defence, we almost give Real Madrid the midfield and say, you know what, you can win that battle. I don't think that's a good idea for Barcelona, so that's why I would move De Jong into midfield. But then even then, you know, it's 3v3. Who wins that battle? You'd have to say that Real Madrid perhaps would be superior. We're going to need a big game, in my opinion, from Busquets. We know how these Clásicos go. Sometimes you have to control them. Sometimes you have to up the ante. And I think Barcelona, we know we have to control this football match. It's probably a good thing for us, actually, that so many of Real Madrid's experienced players are actually out there, so no Carvajal, no Varane, no Ramos, players who know what it is to play in a Clásico, and I think maybe we are missing a few of those guys ourselves, so we're going to have to be really, really sharp. Dembele could be key for me in this one. He always enjoys the Clásicos against Real Madrid, and I'm also looking at Busquets guys there. But then I move on to the defences. In my opinion, this is going to be crucial. Can Real Madrid hold up? Well, it will if we don't get at it, and the same goes for ours. You know, I don't think we're that good at the back, but bringing someone like an Araujo in could be key. And we'll need big games from Longley and Mingueza if they are to start this one. But that is where I think I will wrap this video up. I hope I got everything across that I wanted to say. I always have so much to say tactically going into a Clásico, so I thought I'll make a video on it separately before we do the whole match preview thing tomorrow. But yeah, that's I think where I will end it. As I said, leave all your thoughts in the comments down below. I've probably missed a few things out tactically, but I just think the keys I've mentioned, Vinicius, the crosses for Real Madrid, the mistakes, the pitch, getting at their defence, Dembele and Messi I think will be key. Controlling the midfield, I think the midfield battle is also going to be a big factor in this game. But that's where we'll end it, guys. Pretty long video today, but again, I will see you guys very, very soon. Until then, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.